Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely fascinating argument. It takes something we literally see every single year, springtime, and uses it to unpack this massive, mind-bending concept, divine resurrection. You know, the source material we're looking at builds this incredible bridge between the everyday physical world and some seriously deep metaphysical realities.
Think about it for a second. Every single year, nature goes through this massive, sudden reboot. But is it just a mundane event? Just something we ignore on our morning commute? Or is it actually a full-blown miracle happening right under our noses? Let's break it down.
Part 1. The Great Spring Awakening. Taking a look from the macro perspective.
So, to really answer that first question, the author zooms way out. We have to look at the sheer scale of this thing. We are talking about over 300,000 different species of plants and animals all waking up at the exact same time. 300,000. Just picture that. You've got entire continents completely locked in ice, just totally barren and dead during the winter months. Then, boom, they collectively spring back to life. It's like this invisible global alarm clock goes off, and everything from microscopic bugs to gigantic ancient forests just wakes up. But because it happens every year, we kind of just shrug and take it for granted, right?
And here is where it gets really wild, the timeline. The author points out that this synchronized wake-up call for hundreds of thousands of species doesn't take years to coordinate. No, it happens flawlessly in just 6 days to 6 weeks. I mean, think about trying to organize a simple dinner party for 10 people. Just getting everyone there on time is chaotic enough. Now multiply that by 300,000 distinct species all over the planet, executing this sudden explosion of biodiversity with absolutely pinpoint precision. It is mind-boggling.
Which brings us to the next section. Perfect order within chaos, zooming down into the microscopic level. Let's shift our gaze from that massive global view right down into the dirt, down to the seed. In a section of the text known as the Ninth Truth, the author makes this incredible observation. They write, quote, "In the spring resurrection, we see over 300,000 species reappear. Seeds with very little material difference are given life with perfect distinction." End quote. Think about that. You look at these tiny seeds and spores, and honestly, they basically all look the same. They're just jumbled up in this dark, muddy, chaotic soil, completely battered by winter. But when spring hits, they come back to life perfectly.
The really crucial point here is the zero biological mix-up. You've got these visually identical seeds mixed in a blender of dark earth. But a tiny pine seed never accidentally grows into an oak tree, right? A delicate flower doesn't get confused and sprout up as a thorny weed. Despite being completely jumbled together in total chaos, millions of seeds expertly sort themselves out. They pull the exact right nutrients from the exact same dirt to make completely different colors, structures, and scents, all without making a single mistake. That leads us straight into our next point, evidence of fine planning, where we analyze this biological sorting.
This comparison really hits the nail on the head when it comes to the text's core logic. On one hand, you have this chaotic mess of seemingly identical seeds in the mud. On the other hand, out of that sheer chaos, you get uniquely perfect, vibrant, fully functioning ecosystems. The author argues that when you put these two things side by side, it's virtually impossible to chalk this flawless sorting process up to just blind, random chance. Instead, this undeniably perfect precision is presented as direct proof of intentional, highly advanced planning.
Basically, perfect order emerging from absolute chaos points directly to a meticulous planner. The text frames this everyday biological phenomenon as undeniable evidence. The argument is, if a complex machine needs an engineer to keep all the gears from grinding together, well, flawlessly reassembling 300,000 species out of the mud definitely requires an infinitely capable designer. It's taking the everyday laws of biology and using them as a giant neon sign pointing toward intelligent design.
Now, let's look at the resurrection example from the Quran and see how the text applies this metaphor. This is where the explainer makes a massive philosophical leap from ecology straight into scriptural theology. The author grounds his whole argument in verses like Surah Al-Araf, verse 57 from the Quran. It says, "He sends the winds as heralds of his mercy. We send water down to dead land and bring forth every kind of fruit. This is how we will bring forth the dead." See what they did there? The text explicitly uses the physical revival of dead earth as a one-to-one comparative model for spiritual resurrection. The logic is a straight line. The exact same power that can flawlessly resurrect a dead winter landscape into a vibrant spring is the exact same power that will bring forth the dead. The natural world is basically a living, breathing preview of the supernatural promise.
And the absolute brilliance of this source material is how it walks you through these heavy concepts in 3 really simple steps. Step 1. You just use your own eyes and observe the dead, frozen earth in winter. Step 2, you witness that rapid, flawless spring revival we just talked about, all the species waking up without a hitch. And finally, step 3, you take that undeniable, tangible evidence and use it to grasp the metaphysical promise of resurrection. The author is essentially saying, if you can swallow the massive, everyday miracle of spring coming straight out of the dirt, wrapping your head around divine resurrection shouldn't be that big of a leap.
So before we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the author's final, incredibly provocative question. Have you ever truly noticed this massive, simultaneous awakening in a single spring? It's a great challenge, isn't it? The text is asking us to stop sleepwalking through the seasons, staring at our phones. The next time the winter frost starts to thaw, are you just going to see a change in the weather? Or are you going to witness this incredible, perfectly orchestrated reboot of hundreds of thousands of species happening right in front of you? It definitely makes you look at a simple flower blooming in a completely new light.